back. Sunday means football and podcast. And then here shortly in a couple weeks, Sundays are just going to mean podcasts.
That's right.
Coming down to the end of it. Speaking of sports, the Chiefs won yesterday, so that's the 5th year in a row we will be in the AFC Championship. So,
They
hell
sure
yeah.
did. I think Dak just threw a pick. Full disclosure, I have the Cowboys game on. Yep, it looks like Dak just threw a pick. What do you know?
Not good.
Dak
Not good for Dak.
being Dak.
Not good for old Dak attack. Yeah, so the Chiefs will be at the AFC Championship. I was watching the Bengals and Bills game before hopping on this with a buddy over at his place, and that was an ass whooping.
Yeah.
Not good for the Bills. It was a very poor showing.
Bad time to be a fan of New York sports.
Yeah, not great. Also, not a good time to be. Well, it was a good time. It was a good year to be a Giants fan. Just not a great time last night.
No, yeah, the Giants got that ass whoop.
Really glad I didn't turn that game on because that just turned into an absolute schmacking.
Yeah, I was refereeing basketball games all day yesterday, so I didn't get to watch any football, and it sounds like I didn't miss a whole lot. Other than the Jags maybe keeping it close a little bit.
I mean, it was like we were up towards like pretty much the whole game. We were up at least 10 points or so at the worst, and they ended up getting kind of a garbage time TD at the very end, so it wasn't nothing crazy. The scoreline would lead you believe that it was a little bit closer than what it was, but we played well. Patrick went out with a high ankle sprain, but came back and finished playing the game like a stud. So we're just hoping.
Oh, he did come back and finish the game?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice.
He got his high ankle sprain. He played 3 plays after that to get to the end of the first quarter. Chad Henne came in, started the second quarter, played the majority of the second quarter because we went on a 98-yard TD drive. So the majority of the second quarter was that TD drive. Patrick went to the locker room during that time, was not happy about it. We went to the locker room halftime.
Was not happy because he got pulled out, or not happy because he was injured?
Well, probably both. Not happy because he got injured, and not happy that he got pulled to the locker room during the second quarter so they could go evaluate him and help him get it taped up and everything. Halftime rolled around. We received the kick, and Patrick Mahomes came back out on the field and played the rest of the game.
Oh, he's fine then.
Yeah, I mean, the adrenaline and stuff got him through the game. Today, he's probably really feeling it in that ankle, but he'll go through the week, get his treatments, and hopefully be good to go for the game.
The Bengals are going to be diving at that ankle next week.
Yeah, probably. It's dirty, but yeah.
Yeah, oh well, that's football.
Nature of the game, baby. It's
like Shannon Sharp was saying on Undisputed about, I can't remember.
Damar Hamlin?
No, not Damar Hamlin. He had a lot to say on that too.
Yeah,
like most sports broadcasters did.
Skip Bayless is a moron, but don't get me started on that.
Oh, he was talking about Jalen Hurts' shoulder, and if the Giants were going to be trying to go after his shoulder, and it's like nobody's going to be going after it, but if I get the opportunity to hit him hard, it's on him to fall on the right shoulder. Yeah. I mean, it's like any other game, I'm never intentionally trying to injure someone in a dirty way, but it's my job to hit them as hard as I possibly can. So it's the game of football. That's the way she goes.
It is indeed. Hope everybody had a good week. Got a few little things to talk about today. Where do you want to start, big dog?
You had a meeting reading, I should say. Reading
I did.
With our friend.
I did. I had a reading on Tuesday with
Emily the Psychic,
our medium friend. It was really great. Went really well. I'm not going to get into all the juicy deets, but in regards to the podcast, she did say just keep at it, and it'll grow where we want it to go. And she also gave us a little bit of advice. She was like, just keep talking about your stuff. Talk about even bigger and weirder things.
Did she say that in like a response to the reading and like what was coming across, or was that like more personal advice?
No,
Just out of
that
curiosity.
was like what came across.
Bigger and weirder things.
Yeah, she because it was we were talking about obviously we were talking about me, and she was like she was like with your work and everything else going on, she's like keep doing the podcast. It's it's good, and then it gives you it's something you like doing, and it's just something extra as a good hobby that will keep you engaged and stuff like that. And I was like, I mean, you're nailing it. So
Maybe I should become transgender or something like that. Get real big and weird with it.
I
Just
don't
kidding.
think that's where she was going with that.
If my wife is listening, I'm not going to go transgender. I was just spitballing there,
No, I
Call that a
think
brainstorm, a workshop,
maybe.
maybe.
I think we, we'll just keep running it how we do, and then maybe we just keep diving deeper and deeper into the weird and the supernatural and that kind of stuff.
I would completely off topic. I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast with Sam and Colby, I think their names are. YouTube guys who go to haunted places.
Yeah,
They've had a
yeah.
really kind of I'll become the man in this. Thanks.
Kristen.
Thank you to my beautiful wife.
Kristen
I
has
always thought I would look good
Kristen
in makeup.
has big dick energy, dude.
Oh boy, that's an image I never wanted in my head.
And I'll
Anyway,
never leave.
these guys have had a long kind of history with becoming YouTube sensations or whatever you want to call them. Very popular on YouTube is probably the best word for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would fucking love to be a ghost hunter, dude. That would be so sick.
You'd be
Like,
crazy.
you want to talk about something that I would just love, never feel like work?
Mm-hmm.
And that prompted me to do a search on how much ghost hunting equipment costs. Because
it's not cheap.
Sick. It's not cheap, but it's not as expensive as you think it might be.
Really?
You could do a really good ghost hunt on about $800 to $1,000 in equipment.
Well, that's not terrible because I could spend that and more. I probably spent that at least when I was streaming equipment, which I obviously still use for the podcast. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, again, $800 is not cheap, but I could
break it up and slowly acquire it over like a year. It's not going to be that much of a hit at once.
No, that's 4 basketball refereeing weekends, pretty much.
There you
go. Which I don't
Chad,
do.
I'm going to adjust my camera here a little bit.
For real, yeah, adjust.
I think, Chad, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a better camera soon. I think it's about time. This thing's a little trash.
Get one that we could use on ghost hunts.
Okay, yeah. I'll just go buy a fucking Canon.
What we just need is sponsors, okay?
True.
So if you know anybody that's rich or someone that wants to just give money to a couple nice guys to create content that would be enjoyable to watch, we could reach millions,
We could. Well, actually, also kind of staying in the supernatural, spiritual realm of things, and also podcast things. During my reading as well, Emily just randomly asked me. She was like, "Damn, Kristen is putting her foot down about the ghost hunting equipment, dog." Anyways,
my side hustle money.
It's my money, and I want it now.
Yeah, that's right. I have a structured settlement, and I need cash now.
Call JG Wentworth. 877 cash now. That's a core memory to unlock for some of you viewers out there that remember the early 2000s.
Don't call them giant scam.
Anyways, so yeah, I'm in the middle of the reading, kind of towards the end. She just kind of asked me randomly because we got talking about the spiritual side of things and like for me as a person, and she was like, have you been like nurturing that side of yourself much lately? And I was like, I'm gonna be flat honest with you, no. And she was like, yeah, I could tell. And I was like, I do remember you telling me in our first one that I personally am like very connected to the spiritual side of things. And she was like, yep, you are. And she's like, just you gotta nurture that side of you as well. You're like, that's part of who you are, so don't neglect it. And I was like, all right, that's fair. And then she was like, and this was just like out of the blue. She was like, do you have any like Norse heritage, like Nordic Viking heritage, you know? And I was like, well, my family's Irish, which goes back to the Celts, who, then kind of go back to the Norse from there because the Vikings uh, raided and invaded and settled England as well. And she was like, okay, yep, that makes sense. And she goes, and she was like, she took a second to pause because more things were coming through. And she was like, do they wear like furs or stuff, kind of like like Eskimos would or something? And I was like, well, they're originally from like Denmark and Sweden and Finland and Norway. So yes, it does get very cold up there. So they did wear like furs, not in the same sense as like maybe the Eskimos wore them, but they did wear furs. And she's like, okay, okay, okay. And she was like, yeah, I'm seeing this just like massive human being coming through. Like he's tall, he's just huge. He's just this massive human being. He has furs on. And she's like, you could take this for what you will, but if you want to believe in past lives or not. But she's like, this person was like a friend to you in like a past life and is now kind of like trying to come through basically as like your spirit guide. And I was like, yo, say what, dude? I was like, what? That's crazy. And she was like,
So
yeah,
you got
so
a
dude, I've got
Norse
a
Viking
fucking
spirit guide.
I've got a
Sick,
freaking
dude.
Viking berserker as a
Sick,
spirit guide, which is metal as fuck.
dude. Fucking hardcore,
Hard as
bro.
hell, dude. And
I want to put on some furs and get a battle axe.
yo, I'm
And
just gonna dude,
let's go, bro.
don't be surprised if one day the whole like the Star Wars section in the background stays and then next to it is just like a Viking battle axe.
Yo, North Korea, fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and
bro.
find out, dude.
Fuck
Me and my
out.
berserker spirit guy are gonna come fuck you up. Anyways, so I was like, yeah, so then I was like, all right, that's pretty sick. And I was like, what's crazy is I've always been into like history. Like I'm a history nerd. And I was like, I love Viking history. And I was like, kind of half joking, half not. Every now and then I'll just be like, something will happen. I'll be like, oh, dude, thank Odin that happened and turned out well. And she was like, interesting. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, actually what's super weird is I was like half asleep the other night. I was like sleeping and I kind of like woke up, started waking up from sleep. That weird phase you're in, kind of like half sleep, half not sleep. Your eyes are kind of barely open.
Yeah,
thing.
you saw Viking?
Well, so I saw essentially, basically, yeah.
I was joking.
Alex said he was joking, but wait, there's more. Where I rearranged my room and where my room is set up now is I was sleeping on my left side and I was looking towards my dresser, which had like my uniform and some other clothes that I've been wearing recently just piled on top of it. And I kind of like was like half woke up and I like looked over there and my first thought through half sleep, half open eyes was like, damn, that's a big dude standing over there. And then then the logic side kicked in and was like, nah, dude, that's your dresser. Go back to bed. And I was like, you right. Back to sleep. But I told Emily that and she was like, holy shit, I just got goosebumps. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, so your logic side was the one that came in second, right? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, yeah, so your intuition was the first thing that popped up. So that was like the correct response basically to what you saw. And I was like, wait a minute. So you're telling me that my freaking Viking berserker spirit guide, who I don't know the name of yet, was just Jay chillin', just kind of looking out for me? She's like, yeah, basically. And I was like, oh, word?
Yeah.
And then so
I know
she
what
was like, yeah. So she was like, do you like try and block things out before you go to sleep at night? And I was like, I mean, typically I try and quiet my brain down and block it, like whatever's coming in before I go to sleep because I'm trying to sleep. I usually just like watch YouTube or whatever until I fall asleep, turn it off, and fall asleep. And she was like, yeah, I do the same thing sometimes. And I'm like, okay. So she was like, yeah, just try and like, do that a little less often and just kind of just put it out there if you want and see what comes through. And she's like, pay attention to dreams because they'll try and talk to you through dreams. And I was like, okay, well, I don't really dream that often. So maybe if I can shut my brain down and the only time that I really do dream and remember dreaming is when I like take melatonin at night.
Really?
Yeah, and I haven't been because I overstimulate myself so much before I go to sleep that when I go to sleep it's just like poof, blank slate, wake up.
Well, that's weird because the only time I don't dream is when I take melatonin at night.
Really? Yeah.
But
Recently,
I also dream like fucking every night.
yeah. So
Like we've
I'm,
talked about this.
yeah, I'm opposite. So like in recent history, the only time that I've like really had dreams is when I take melatonin when I'm having trouble sleeping. Because then I like, it kind of knocks me out within the first 30 minutes, and then I'm like gone. And then I guess that's when I get that really good REM sleep where I'm like actually dreaming and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
but anyway,
Interesting.
I say all that because, again, talking about the spiritual side of things, I think I'm gonna like not think I'm going to kind of start looking into Norse paganism as
Interesting.
a religion,
Sick.
and
You
like
want to become pagans, dude? Let's
yeah,
fucking
dude, I'm
become
I'm down.
pagans.
My boy that I was over at his house with, he's like pagan. Not, I don't know if like practicing, but that's what he's established as his religion per the military. And I have another friend who is actually on Monday. I'm picking up the book called the Havenmal, which is basically a book of Odin's teachings.
Interesting.
So I say all this in that I will probably bring you guys on this journey with me. We'll have a little section on the podcast where I talk about my experiences while I go through this.
Wait.
So be pretty
I
sick. I'm excited. It's gonna be cool, and it's
uh,
different. It's not like established religion, all that crap shit. So
no, and I think it all kind of again, like we've talked about a lot of
yeah,
times, call it Odin, call it Buddha, call it God, call it whatever you want.
it's all connected.
The creator, yeah, it's all
It's all created, and
pretty
I think
well
it's all how it
connected.
manifested itself to cultures, certain cultures.
Although in the biblical times, the pagans got a little wild. You might want to stay away from the biblical times,
Yeah, I don't know.
practicing pagans. The
We'll
blood
see.
sacrifices, that was a
Yeah, I
little.
don't think we're gonna get into any blood sacrifices. I won't be finding squirrels in the backyard and offering them up, but we'll
Yeah, if
see
you
what
read any
happens.
books on Baal, maybe stay away from the whole Baal
Yeah,
god thing. Yeah,
I got enough
stay
of a
away from
I
that
have
one.
enough of a basis in Judeo-Christian religion that I'll stay away from that stuff. But yeah, this little journey through figuring out what Norse paganism is all about. It's gonna be interesting.
You should try to do some meditation too.
She said the same, and then she also told me
I
she's like, reach out whenever you want, and I can help you. And I was like, I might. So I might try and incorporate that at night before I go to bed, figure out what's going on.
Well, and even there's some good ones, and I always thought meditation was like a load of shit. Like,
Hmm.
well, yeah, of course
Like
you
you're
feel
sitting there with your
rejuvenated
legs
after you,
crossed with the home.
and that's not what it has to be whatsoever.
Yeah,
Like there's some really good ones just on YouTube. Literally, you do a very quick search, and you have your basically pick of the litter on meditations. I always thought it was like you spend 10 minutes in silence. Of course, you're gonna feel a little rejuvenated,
yeah.
but after doing it a few times, I really did feel like refreshed and more kind of like centered into
Well, and
yourself,
this is kind of like the same thing. I watched a little, probably a blurb on TikTok about meditation as well. The Buddhist monks, they meditate a lot, and I think typically they were interviewing one like typically they only get like 4 actual hours of like sleep a night, and then all
Mhm.
their other rest comes from their meditation
Yeah.
because they
Well, it's
meditate a lot.
and there is some fascinating studies in science on breath work, which is
Hmm.
essentially meditation.
Yeah.
To get to that stage of meditation involves a lot of breath work. Um, but there's, like breath work classes where, oh, the guy that was on Rogan, I can't think of his name, very well known, written books on breath work.
Hmm.
He got involved in breath work because he went to a seminar where this guy was leading, and he was kind of like a quack in the world of breath work,
Hmm.
but he was leading this group of people through this breath work, breathe in, breathe out, hold your breath, whatever. And he like his body temperature rose and like he started sweating and like it was literally physically affecting him. And he walked up to the guy afterwards and was like, what was that response? And the guy was like, oh, you're probably sick, and he was like, well, no, I'm not fucking sick. Like what?
Yeah, I'm not
And so
sick.
then
I'm
he
just
started
sitting here
looking into
doing
it.
breath work.
There's I'm so bad with names, dude. Fuck. Wim Hof. I think it is Wim Hof. Has a lot of maybe that's the guy's name. Maybe it is Wim Hof. Anyway, he does a lot of work into breath work also, and there's basically one to help you sleep at night
Mm.
that's deep breath in, deep breath out, and then as you exhale, you basically hold to a 5 count, and then deep breath in, deep breath out, hold to a 5 count.
Mm-hmm.
Brother, that shit is it works so well.
I don't know if I
Like,
did something like with that exact pattern, breathe in, breathe out, 5 count hold. But when I was going through my divorce and I was like stressed out of my mind and having a hard time sleeping, there were a few nights where at least I pulled up like a YouTube thing of like somebody, pretty quietly like doing the breathe with like the rain in the background thing, basically a meditation thing so that I could calm down to sleep. And it worked.
if I didn't have my wife in the same bed with me sleeping every night, who she hates any sort of noise, like she just likes it to be nice and quiet. But when I was in Des
Hmm.
Moines, pretty much every night I would have a guided sleep meditation playing.
Mm.
And I never, in fact, one night I was super anxious. I don't remember what was going on, but I wasn't even really following it. That's the other crazy thing about like those breath work. A lot of times I don't feel like, but my brain takes over and like the
Hmm.
anxiety, like chaos part of my brain takes over. And then when I realize that I'm like, okay, you have to shut that down so you can go to sleep,
Hmm.
I realize that I've stopped doing the breath work. And
Mm.
like my breaths are short and it's all in through the nose. It's very interesting. But if you can really focus on that breath work and really focus on your breathing, it's basically that's a lot of what meditation is.
Yeah.
So,
The thing that's going to be the kicker for me is like being in that silence because I'm pretty sure I have at least some form or some grade of tinnitus. And so my
oh,
ears just
dude.
ring all the time. And so trying to
Yes.
get past that persistent ringing where I'm just like, Jesus Lord, is this going to ever stop?
Yep.
Like
I know
that's pretty
exactly
much
what you
why
mean.
I like have noise on up until the point that I'm like, time for sleep because it helps drown out the ringing in my ears. And then at that point, I'm so tired. I'm just like, kapow, and I'm done.
Literally, as we're talking right now, in the times of like silence, my ears are just ringing, like
Mine haven't
constantly
stopped.
ringing.
They're going now, and I hear it more because I have the headphones on, so it's blocking out if there's any sound elsewhere. Even
Yep.
during my hearing my voice and your voice through this, all I hear in the background is just me.
Yep.
It's the
Same,
best, dude.
dude. Same.
Although I did find out it's a pretty easy VA claim, so at least I'll get that
Oh,
when I'm done, dude. Gets a
well,
disability check for having tinnitus.
shit. My dog's at the door. In other news, Brett Maher just missed another extra point kick.
Dude, this
Cowboys
dude is
scored a
going
Maher.
to get fired.
Apparently, he missed 2 kicks in pregame warmups, and Jerry Jones came out on the field and was talking to him.
Oh my god.
Like, when in the history of football has a general manager
To
come out on the
walk
field to talk
down
to
the
a kicker
stairs.
who can't make an extra point kick?
Oh Jesus.
Hold on 1 second, my dog's paw.
That's not good, Chad. I don't know if you guys follow any type of sports or anything, but the dude missed 4 extra points last week in Dallas's
Lay
win,
down, babe.
and yikes. You think it has anything to do? We're going back to sports now. You think it has anything to do with the NFL, the officiating crews actually enforcing this really obscure rule about the placeholders not using anything like another blade of grass or a little marker or something for the ball?
I don't think so, because the guy was pretty automatic all year.
True, but maybe they were using something all year and now they're hyper aware of it.
Maybe. I think you would hear more about that. I
Yeah, I
don't know.
haven't heard too
Maybe
much about it. Was it the Vikings coach that was like, I think they got called on it. And
I think the
afterwards, he
dude
was like, I've never heard this rule being called the entirety of my career. And now they're
I
calling it all of a sudden?
I think the dude caught a serious case of the yips
I think that's
and
right. I think
can't fucking kick it.
he's like, holy
Literally.
fuck, the Cowboys are in the playoffs and we're winning. And now I have to kick extra points. And it
Well, and
really
I don't even
matters.
think it was that. I think it was more so he missed that first extra point
It just got in his own
last
head about
week.
it.
And yeah, he missed it right and was like, huh, all right. And then he missed the next one, right? And he was like, okay, fuck. And then he went to kick the next one and he kicked it left. And he's like,
Overcorrected.
what the fuck? And after that, it's just like,
It's snowballed. He's just overthinking it too much. He's not out there just automatic kick.
well, I think about all the time, especially in the world of like mentalities and sports and business and in anything, how for the longest time people thought it was physically impossible to run under a 4-minute mile. You've
Hmm.
heard this, right? People,
Perhaps. I mean, that's fucking fast.
well, yeah, and it was like scientists said it's impossible. Like a human cannot run under a 4-minute mile. Well, and then one guy ran under a 4-minute mile. And after that, everybody started breaking the 4-minute mile mark. Not everybody, but a lot
Like
of
a lot of
people,
people did.
professional runners. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was solely a mentality
Yeah,
thing.
it's a mentality thing because you literally have to push your body at a sprint pace for an entire mile.
Yeah, and if there are scientists telling you this can't be done, people just accept that and think, okay, well, I can't do it until
Yeah.
somebody actually goes out and does it, and they're like, holy shit, it is possible. Well, then all of a sudden, people are starting to do it more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the power of mentality. It's also the idea of like the placebo effect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's that story of a guy, I forget what kind of drug it was. It was some drug study to where
Yeah,
you
and they
couldn't
just
take,
gave him sugar pills.
well, and he was in the control group. So this guy, he's in the control group, but obviously he doesn't know it. He's just taking placebo sugar pills.
Mm-hmm.
And if you took too many of them, you were like susceptible to have a heart attack. Well, the guy gets his pills mixed up and accidentally takes too many of what he thinks is this drug that turns out is just sugar pills.
And thinks himself into cardiac arrest.
They called the ambulance. He was having all of the signs of cardiac arrest, elevated respiratory system,
Yeah.
heart pounding. They call the doctor who is, in control of the study. They finally get a hold of him while this guy is in the ER. And the doctor, they're like, what is this drug? And the doctor's like, this guy's in the control group. Those were just sugar pills. And they tell the patient, hey, you didn't take anything. All you did was take sugar pills. What do you know? All of a sudden, his heartbeat slows down, his breathing. Like the power of the human mind is a wild, wild
Yeah,
thing.
it's crazy, and we just don't know like fully what it's capable of, and like just how much like it can do.
And you catch a case of the yips, and dude, it's hard to shake, and you're seeing it right now from a this guy's sole job is to
Kick
kick
a
field
football.
goals.
Yep.
You have college players who could go out and kick that.
Mhm.
Or he could on just a normal Wednesday, he could go out and, nobody
Nail it.
around. He could make 50 of those in a row, but he misses 4 under the bright lights and then comes out tonight and gets his first one blocked, which looked like it probably wasn't going to go in anyway. And the fucking guy's got a case of the yips, dude. It's a real thing. The human brain is a crazy, crazy place, man.
It's wild, dude. Imagine fucking Dallas loses tonight on extra point misses.
Well, they got lucky last week because the extra points didn't come into play, but
yeah, left 4
this
points
week,
off the board.
man,
This week though,
I know.
they'll be a factor.
Yeah, I don't think you can go 2 weeks in a row and not have those come back into play.
It would be a 1 in a million chance. And whoever bet money on him missing field goals tonight, if he misses all of them, they still win, would stand to make lots of cash.
I should have I'm sure that was.
That had to be. Vegas would have, if I was Vegas, I would have put that in just on the off chance. Like,
I can tell you, I took the Cowboys. I think it was -4. I don't know if it was -4 or -4.5. But right now they're down 3, and if he had made that, they'd be down 4. So you're looking at a guy right now who, if the game finished right now,
it's the extra points.
It would that would hurt. That
Yeah.
wouldn't be so fun. That wouldn't be.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be great. But
hello, mother. Thank you. Love you too.
hello, and thank you, Ben's mom, for giving Ben the message about me talking about my sobriety on the podcast. Ben reached out and told me about that.
I did.
And
I did indeed.
I've never met you in person, but that doesn't stop me from loving you because I love your son. And
We need to rectify that
thank you.
situation, mother.
I know.
Next time I end up in Omaha, just like drive up, or I'll just get you a plane ticket. We'll figure it out.
Or if you get married someday, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Oh, true.
That would change that also. So
Also, facts.
it'll come along.
True indeed. True and real. Also, hi Nancy. I see you there. Yeah, Nancy. When we were talking about arthritis and needing stuff, Nancy said that she needs noise 24/7.
Yes.
I do. Like even when I'm at work, I have to have my headphones. Not every day, but there's the majority of days I've got to have my at least one headphone in with music going. I can't just sit there in fucking silence while I'm doing work. It's impossible.
I can't do it. I have I literally, again, broken record time. I have a podcast going and a headphone in. If I'm at home alone, I have a podcast going all the time.
Yeah, if
The
I'm
only
at
time
home
I
alone,
don't is if I'm like playing Call of Duty and I
Yeah.
have to have my headphones
When
on
I'm-
to hear the
I
game.
said if I'm home alone, I'm always home alone. When I'm home, when I'm home, I either have to have like YouTube going when I get home, like while I'm doing stuff or like just chilling or whatever. Yeah, but like the only time I don't have it is when I'm playing video games. And even yesterday, I was playing video games before I went out, and I had music on as well while I was playing. I wasn't playing Call of Duty or anything because that would just been too much. But yeah, I was playing another game that I like playing, and I just had music going at the same time. I have to. My brain is just how my brain's wired. I have to have something all the time.
If I'm playing the golf game or MLB The Show, I have the podcast going and the TV muted because I don't need to hear,
Yeah, that's
the
not
golf
you don't-
announcers. They piss me off anyway.
Yeah, and you
And-
don't really need the sounds of tink.
No, exactly.
So.
See, Kristen, she says I need no noise because there's too much noise in my head and it will drive me insane. I need the noise to stop my internal dialogue from talking to, because if I don't have the noise, then my brain is left to its own devices and it's just like,
It's a lot.
did you respond to that email? Did you do this? Did you do that? Hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? Oh, maybe we should go clean this. Oh, no, well, I'm halfway through cleaning this, but now my brain says, hey, what about the living
It's
room? Let's
the
go check out the living
ADD,
room. Have
dude.
we
I do
mopped
this-
in there? Have we mopped in the living room? Oh, I bet we should probably vacuum. Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, upstairs, that trash needs to be taken out. And before I know it, I have the living room
projects.
has been vacuumed but not mopped, and I've taken out the trash in the upstairs bathroom but not cleaned the toilet, and the dishes are half done, and it's like I have half projects done all around the house, but none have been completed to its entirety.
It's bad. The ADD gets crazy like that. Like I'll get the wild hair. I'm like, all right, I really need to clean. And I'll be like vacuuming and I'll see some shit on my desk and I'll just like stop vacuuming and then like clean my desk. And then I'm like, oh fuck, I was vacuuming. So then I go back to vacuuming, or I'll take the trash to where the trash can, and the trash can's full. And I'm like, God damn it, now I got to take the trash out. And then I come back inside and I'm like, oh fuck, the dishes. So then I just start washing the dishes. Meanwhile, the vacuum's back here in the office. Like, the fuck, dude? I thought we were vacuuming, and then I come back here and I'm like, oh god dang it, the freaking vacuum's still back here, back to vacuuming. It's like, it's wild.
Yep. Murder mysteries.
Movies
Yep. I love
my
a good
mother
murder
and my
mystery.
girlfriend out here perpetuating the white woman stereotype of just watching murdered mysteries all the time.
Listen, and we've talked about this before. I hate that fucking stereotype because
the
I
truth,
love a good murder mystery. Matter of fact, I have pulled up on my computer right now that Brian Walsh guy. Have you heard about him
The
at all?
name sounds familiar.
He's accused of his wife's murder, and they found Google searches in days after her disappearance. This guy's like, I don't know what happened to her. She's just gone. Like, she just, she must have just ran away.
Okay, guy.
Well, on his son's iPad at
do remember this.
4:58 a.m., which, by the way, this guy clearly doesn't watch enough murder mysteries, because the first thing you would know is you do not use Google to search things like this because you will fucking get busted.
Yeah.
Not that you should kill your wife in the first place, but anyway. 4:58 a.m. How to stop a body from decomposing. 5:20 a.m. How to bound a body. 5:47 a.m. 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. I'm not
Jesus
going to keep
Christ,
reading the
Google.
times. These are all like between 10 and 20 minutes apart. Very
Yeah.
early in the morning. How long for someone to be missing to inherent? Can you throw body parts away? What does formaldehyde do? How long does DNA last? Can identification be made on partial remains? Dismemberment and the best ways to dispose of a body. How to clean blood from a wooden floor. Luminol to detect blood. What happens when you put body parts in ammonia? Is it better to throw crime scene clothes away or wash them? So, yeah, you probably killed your wife, Brian Walsh. So,
Jesus Christ.
you're kind of fucked. And you did it on your son's iPad, which is even worse.
Yeah, that's wild.
There's a lot more Google searches in the days following this, which are like hacksaw best tool to dismember. Not great. I'll just stop there. But yeah, great murder mystery.
That's insane.
Not really a mystery,
No,
but
there's no mystery in that at all. He fully exposed himself by Googling all of this.
and that smug fuck in the Idaho murders. That guy pisses me off so
Oh,
bad.
yeah, dude, fuck
A,
that guy.
because he killed people. B, because he thinks he's so smart in doing it. He slid into the DMs, was trying to slide into the DMs of one of the girls that he reportedly murdered. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Hey, hi, how are you? Like,
Jesus.
just lit up her DMs.
Yeah.
And this guy was so smug that he like waived his extradition rights between states because he still thought he was going to get away with it. Like, bro, you're not that fucking smart. What is it with these well, clearly they have something wrong with their brains.
Yes.
But they think that they're like smart enough to get away with it. Like they're the Zodiac killer or something. Like, you're
It
not going to
is
get away with it, dude.
it is few and far between that somebody is smart enough to commit these crimes and get away with it.
Yeah,
I
and
think
when
the
they
only
do, they
person
go
in
down
recent
in
history was the
history.
Zodiac killer.
Yeah, and that was in the 70s before like DNA evidence was like a big
Yeah,
thing,
even
you
more
know?
refined.
Yeah. Or before the internet existed.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get away with this shit. You're just
Logic
not.
has left the chat. Yes, exactly, Kristen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the only people
So,
that got away with fucking multiple murders, like serial killer murders before the Zodiac killer was like Jack the Ripper.
although I was listening to one on Friday, this dude, and I think he probably got away with it because his uncle is like a high-powered judge in California, I think was the state.
Mm.
So he's engaged to this girl. He's a NBC producer. He's a producer for NBC. He now works for the PGA Golf Network.
Oh shit.
He's like a producer for PGA Golf on the NBC. But anyway, he's engaged to this girl. They have a super happy life. That's part of the weirdness of it is by all means they looked completely normal and functional. This girl starts to develop like serious anxiety. She's a school teacher. She has a couple problem kids, but all her kids still love her. All of uh, her coworkers love her. Like she's beloved by everyone she knows.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently she starts developing anxiety with work and then planning this big wedding and things. She starts, having really high anxiety for whatever reason. Goes to
Mm-hmm.
see a psychiatrist a couple times. They prescribe her, she prescribes her, the psychiatrist prescribes her, Klonopin or whatever, a couple anti-anxiety medications.
Yeah.
One night, her fiance and her are at home. Fiance goes downstairs to work out, comes back upstairs, and is trying to get into the apartment, but like the door latch is flipped,
Mm.
like hotel door
Yeah,
latch,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
apartment door latch is flipped. Goes to open it, it's flipped. He's like, well, that's weird. So he tries calling her a couple times. She doesn't answer. He texts her and is like, hey, will you open the door? No response. He's like, seriously, come open the door. No response. hey, I'm starting to get really fucking pissed. Like, come open the door, please.
Mm-hmm.
No response. He goes downstairs to like not the bellhop, the door
The
guy.
manager's office or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, can you come help me open this? The guy's like, well, there's no way to open it other than from the inside. The only way to do that would be to break the door open and break the latch. And if you do that, you're going to be responsible for paying for the latch. He's like, okay, fuck. Goes back upstairs, continues to call, text, nothing. And so he finally breaks the latch, goes inside. She's laying in a pool of blood. She's been stabbed like 22 times
Jesus Christ.
and has like markings of strangulation. And a lot of this isn't found out until like the autopsy report.
Mm-hmm.
She'd been making dinner and Google searching like wedding venues and like wedding plans. So not necessarily somebody that would commit suicide.
Yeah.
And it's like less than 3% of women that commit suicide use a knife.
Yeah.
And very few probably stab themselves 22
22
times.
times.
911 call is super weird where he does sound like he's in shock. But like he like flips her over and he's like, "Oh my God, she has a knife in her chest, a knife in her heart. She must have stabbed herself or fallen on the knife." It's like,
What?
bro, this is fucking strange. Like, also, how did he flip the lock after he was outside
Mm-hmm.
of the apartment? But then some people said that the latch wasn't completely broke. It just looked like he had tried to break it. Um, Initially ruled a homicide, but then turned into a ruling of suicide. Anyway, there's like a petition you can sign also, by the way, to if you do a simple Google search, I'm sure you'll find this in the petition to reopen this case
Mm-hmm.
and uh, hopefully for them to try to solve this what seems to be murder.
Yeah,
So,
fingers crossed. That's very sus. Hi, Slump.
Slumpy, how we doing?
Yeah, that's whack.
Niners
mad
kicked a
whack.
field goal to tie it up, by the way.
Oh
Anyway,
shit.
I say all that to say, fuck that stereotype of only white women loving murder mysteries because your boy loves a fucking good murder mystery. Anyway.
Anywho's. Damn. Well, after all that, the only thing we have left on the docket for tonight is the boy George Santos.
George Santos. What?
True, Slumpy, true.
Gem of a human.
Go
only in terms to speak about.
Go off, dude. Fill in the audience.
So, if you don't know who Republican George Santos is, he has become a household name for pretty much all of the wrong reasons.
Yikes.
He lost his first bid for Congress in 2020. I'm going to give you kind of a timeline of his whole kind of coming into politics, although it stems much further back than 2020, because obviously you don't just run for Congress out of the blue.
Right.
So November 2020 loses that bid. January 6th, 2021.
A day that will live in infamy.
Recognize that date. He speaks at Trump's rally in D.C., and days later in an interview says Trump was full of awesomeness that day. Which, say what you want about Trump, I don't find fault in him for being a Trump supporter, because support who you want to support. Not that I'm a Trump supporter, whatever. Anyway, June 10th, he announces his second campaign for Congress. September 6th, 2022, files his personal financial disclosure report claiming his assets are as much as $11 million.
Okay.
Which led to raise some questions about his finances because his net worth since 2020 had significantly increased, and people are like, "Huh, 11 million in assets? Like,
Is
Jesus
that due
Christ,
to
this
the one
dude."
thing that I think it is?
It's partially due to the fact I'm putting the cart before the horse a little bit. But he is known for accusations that he scammed $3,000 from a GoFundMe
Yep,
campaign
there it is.
for a disabled veteran's dying service dog.
Yep. What a
So this,
scumbag, dude.
oh brother, just wait.
Oh no.
Although this is maybe top of the list of
Scummy things
scumbag
to do.
things to actually do,
Yeah, fuck that guy.
he's lied about a lot of shit, and he's a
Well,
complete.
he's not a politician if he doesn't lie.
Well, and that's just goes to show you. These are the literal elected members of Congress we have running our great nation. And I don't say great nation sarcastically. I do think America is a great nation. The one thing that I will say that resembles what Trump has said, although he did not live up to this promise, is that this is a fucking swampland of swamp creatures, that this swamp needs to get drained because
Yeah.
we have people like this making major decisions about the future of our country. So this disabled veteran he posted about his dying service dog. His service dog was sick. Santos at the time said that he would create a GoFundMe campaign for this guy and for his dog for veterinarian bills, so on and so forth. Santos created the GoFundMe. They raised $3,000 for it, and then the disabled veteran was like, "This is really nice. This is really cool." Well, then Santos ghosted him, and he reached out a couple times. Never heard back from him. Still hasn't heard back from him or seen any of the money from that
Jesus,
GoFundMe
dude.
campaign. So this is the kind of guy that we're working with here.
What a fucking piece
So
of shit.
when he reports assets to the tune of $11 million, which was, they don't say exactly what he reported his assets were in 2020, the first time he ran for Congress. But they did say that it was a significant increase, and it raised a lot of questions from people like, huh, interesting. Anyway, November 8th, 2022, he wins his second bid for Congress in a contest that made LGBTQ political history. This is, kind of a cool thing. It is a cool thing. I'll just say that. Marking the first time that two openly gay congressional candidates had gone head to head in a general election. That's pretty cool. I like that.
If Santos wasn't a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. November 19th, Santos addresses the Republican Jewish Coalition, saying that this election means that there will now be 3 Jewish Republican members of Congress. Among other references to Judaism in his 2022 congressional campaign, Santos distributed a positional paper claiming to be a proud American Jew. He's not Jewish. And when pressed about saying this, he meant that he was a little bit Jew in the sense that he was Jew-ish. What?
What in the Kanye West is going on?
What fucking bizarro land do you live in where you're like, oh, no. What I really meant is I'm a little bit Jew. I'm Jew-ish.
I'm Jew-adjacent.
I'm not Jewish. I'm Jew-ish. Okay. Cool.
I'm Jew-adjacent, dude. He's a politician.
Jew.
I'm not going to say what type of politician. He's Jewish.
Despite the fact that he put out a positional paper claiming to be a proud American Jew. Anyway.
Oh my God. Nancy, I'm smart-ish. Dude, same.
This guy's not dumb-ish. He is fully dumb. He is full dumb ass.
Oh my God.
So November 21st, 2022, in an interview with WNYC, he says that he lost 4 employees in the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando, Florida in 2016. Of the 49 victims in that Pulse nightclub shooting tragedy, none of them worked for him, ever.
No.
So he's straight up lied about that. He did not lose any employees in the Pulse nightclub shooting.
Dude, come on.
Yeah. New York Times publishes a bombshell. This is December 19, 2022. New York Times publishes a bombshell investigation reporting that Santos lied about his resume. His lawyer, Santos's lawyer, dismisses the story, says he's being attacked by his enemies.
No.
Representatives reach out to New York University, where he is also said to have obtained a degree.
Oh, I
The
remember hearing about this
university,
part of it, and the university's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
yeah, the university tells NBC New York that they have no record of his attendance. He never went there. And he also said he worked for Citigroup and Goldman Sachs, and they told NBC New York they have no record of his employment. So he says that he worked for Citigroup and Goldman Sachs and has a degree from New York University, all complete fabrications. Not true whatsoever.
And we still elected this guy?
Oh, I'm not done.
Oh God, dude.
Santos reported that his grandparents fled the Holocaust. This was kind of goes all into his whole Jewish
I'm Jew
thing.
adjacent.
Well, no, keep in mind, Ben, although his grandparents did flee the Holocaust, he's not full Jew, he's just Jewish, meaning kind of Jew. It's I'm telling you, land of fucking bizarro world. If we're not living in a simulation, I don't fucking know how it gets any crazier than the world that we're living in. Anyway, he said that his grandparents fled Jewish persecution in Ukraine, settled in Belgium, and then fled persecution in World War II. Didn't happen. The Republican Jewish Coalition says it contacted Santos's team because there is just simply not true. He did not have grandparents that fled the Holocaust. December 22nd, 2022. The New York Attorney General's office says it's quote unquote looking into a number of issues surrounding Santos in response. A lawyer for Santos said he had not been contacted by anyone from the Attorney General's office.
His lawyer's lying for him now too.
Correct. December 26th, Santos admits to having embellished in his resume and tells WABC Radio he's not ever committed any crimes in the U.S. or abroad.
Oh yeah, just we're totally disregard the fact that you stole $3,000 from a disabled veteran.
Yeah. Well, he also goes on to say that he did lie and he didn't graduate from Baruch College or any other institution of higher learning.
So what bum-ass college did he go to?
Well, and then the fact that he didn't. He doesn't have a degree. He didn't go to a college. And then he claims that he used a poor choice of words in claiming that he worked for Citigroup and Goldman Sachs. And then this is where he says, I never claimed to be Jewish. I'm a Catholic. Because I have learned from my maternal family I had a Jewish background, I said I was Jew-ish. Yeah. January 2nd, 2023. New York Times reports that Brazilian law enforcement have intended to revive fraud charges because apparently in 2008 there was an incident involving a stolen checkbook in Rio de Janeiro. And apparently Brazilian law enforcement had been looking for him and had sought out to have communication about this with him.
So he wasn't wrong in saying that he didn't commit a crime in the U.S. He just committed one in Brazil.
No, he did say I've never committed a crime in the U.S. or abroad.
Oh, okay.
He added the words abroad because he really wanted to. When he lied, he really wanted to make sure that he threw the lie in there.
Yeah, you really got to cover your ass and make it believable. Okay.
Yeah. Because apparently this whole incident with the stolen checkbook happened in 2008. Again, Brazilian law enforcement officials were trying to get in contact with him. Couldn't find him. They kind of just dropped the case after trying to find him and reaching out to him to discuss this case. And then his name starts popping up in the news, and Brazilian law enforcement officials are like, "Oh, hey, we remember that guy. Yeah, let's open that fraud charge again."
we've got the case still pinned on the board.
Yeah, matter of fact, can you pick up the phone? We got some questions about this stolen checkbook thing from back in 2008. I'm telling you, man, it is just
How has no one seen all of this come out, seen that he's just a pathological liar with with a fraud charge pending in Brazil, and not looked at him and been like, "Yeah, you should not be here."
Dan Goldman and Richie Torres, both Democrats in New York City, have filed a complaint with the House Ethics Committee over his alleged failure to file timely and accurate and complete financial disclosure reports. I mean, like, the list goes. Oh, this is one of my favorites. I can't believe I almost left this out. In New York, Republican officials held a news conference calling for Santos to resign.
Okay.
In which County GOP Chairman Joe Cairo also notes that Santos said that he not only went to Baruch College, but also that he was a star, quote unquote, star on the volleyball team. So not only did he lie about going to this Baruch College, he went a step further to say that he was the star on the men's volleyball team. What Why? What fucking made up world are you living in?
This motherfucker is out here just telling everyone his lucid dreams are reality. He's like, no one will fact check this. I went to Baruch College and absolutely killed it on the men's volleyball team. Let me just pick a sport that everybody's gonna be like, ah, yeah, all right. Oh my god, dude, he's gonna show up to the house volleyball game and absolutely gets jammed on.
Well, and apparently now for good reason, like, members of Congress don't even want to be seen with this guy. Like,
I wouldn't
at
either.
these congressional hearings.
Fucking who's the fucking House Speaker now? I cannot remember his name for the life of me.
Whoa. How did we forget this in such a short amount of McCarthy?
Yeah, I think that's right. Mike? No, not Mike.
Yeah, is that right?
Is it Mike? Oh god. We have the technology. Jesus Christ.
I think it is
Kevin McCarthy.
Kevin McCarthy.
Mike
McCarthy. Yeah, Mike McCarthy is the coach of the Dallas.
Yeah,
Cowboys.
That's right, Mike. The Cowboys are on. That's why. Mike McCarthy's also your House Speaker. He's coaching the Cowboys and is a House Speaker. No, yeah. So Kevin McCarthy had to make concessions to get to it, and Santos is part of that group. He had to make concessions to it. The motherfucker's on the House Science Committee, and what's the other one he's on? He's like on two committees that he probably has no business being on.
You know what else he lied about? Again, I can't believe I almost forgot about this.
Oh god,
he said his mother died in the 9/11 World Trade Center attacks.
Dog, you cannot lie about that shit.
His mother was not in New York on 9/11. Said his mother died on 9/11 in the South Tower. So he specified that she was in the South Tower on 9/11 and was killed in the 9/11 attacks.
This dude is like...
She wasn't even in the United States on September 11th,
Nancy say she was down in Brazil.
Yeah.
This dude is like lying, but like he's bad at it, obviously, and he's also overselling. So it's not just like saying it as a lie. He's purposefully embellishing it to try and make it more believable, but it's having the opposite effect.
3 days ago, he said that the reports that he performed as a drag queen are quote unquote categorically false, Well, guess whose picture popped up yesterday as him dressed in drag? Like, nobody fucking cares if you used to dress in drag. I would probably be more inclined to vote for you if I knew that you were a gay drag queen, because that makes, at least I think maybe you're closer to a real person, and I'm sick of these
Yeah,
people
now
in
you're
fucking
relatable. At
Congress.
least, like
Yeah,
you.
like that's kind of cool, I think. Like, cool,
Yeah,
you're a real person. Express yourself. I don't fucking care what you do in your off time.
show
I'll
up to
come
the
to a
house and
drag
drag.
show.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't fucking care. And
This
then
man is when like he.
he responds on Twitter about this whole disabled veteran dog thing, saying reports that I would let a dog die is shocking and insane. You know what's shocking and insane, Santos? Saying that your grandparents fled from the Holocaust and saying that your mother died in attacks on 9/11 when she wasn't in the country.
He's in Brazil.
You fucking lunatic.
Holy shit. If this dude does not get kicked out soon, I have. What?
Well, that's the thing, is they can't kick him out. He has to resign. He's an elected official. They can't. I mean, maybe they could find
Can the
terms to fire
public?
him.
Is there anything that the public can? Because I haven't done enough research, but can the public just like, can we Star Wars this bitch up and just have a vote of no confidence?
I am not a fan of assassination. Not a fan of assassination. But if there's one time that the CIA could step in and kind of yank an elected official, I think we have a
You
case
mean
on
one
our
time,
hands
dude?
here.
They fucking done it
Once
at least
again,
3.
not a fan of assassination. I would never advocate for someone to lose the life. I'm just saying, if you wanted to have an open conversation about the justification of it, you might be able to make a good case. Again, not advocating for it. We're a very anti-assassination podcast.
I know, Nancy. I know nothing about lying is illegal. It's just obviously it's very immoral, but there has to be there, right? Like I gotta look it up. I have to. There has to be a way that the public can just be like, no. Can the public fucking vote out a elected House representative?
Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything here. That's how crazy this guy is like, it's hard to keep all of his lies straight. Like, I almost forgot about the fact that he said that his mom died on 9/11.
Taken to the train
I was
station.
so, like, my brain was so on the whole, like, Jew-ish thing, which for all the wrong reasons, I find fucking hysterical. The fact that an elected member of Congress would be like, well, I said I was Jewish and I meant I was Jew-ish.
Dash-ish.
Maybe I didn't have a long enough pause in there. I should have maybe clarified that. And it was a poor choice of words when I said I work for Citibank and Goldman Sachs, because I never fucking worked there. How fucking complete pathological liar. Complete fucking sociopath. What would be sick is if Brazil was able to pin those 2008 fraud stolen checkbook charges on him, and they were like, actually, we got to come get him.
Okay,
he's wanted for a crime in Brazil back in 2008.
I looked this up real fast, so I'm just going to read the first paragraph, and then I'll get into the rest of this that I read right fast. So it says, under the United States Constitution, congressional practice, members of Congress may have their services ended prior to the normal expiration of their constitutionally established terms of office by resignation or death, or by action of the House of Congress in which they are a member by way of an expulsion, or by a finding that in accepting a subsequent incompatible public office, the member would be deemed to have vacated his congressional seat. Then it goes in to explain that, that Article 1, Section 5, Clause 2 is where this comes from a little bit more. And there's a thing in here, it says that they can have the vote to expel them from Congress if and it's only like so expulsion actions in both the House and Senate have generally concerned cases of perceived disloyalty to the United States or the conviction of a criminal statutory offense which involved abuse of one's official position. So, but
No,
but
yeah, he
but
hasn't done any of
he
those
hasn't done
things.
any of that. But like it says, also each house has broad authority as to the grounds, nature, timing, and procedure for an expulsion of a member. So maybe if the Brazilians can pin this on him
So that's
legally
really
and
the
for
only chance
real,
we have of getting this guy
then
out
he
of
can
Congress.
get yeah, he'll get taken out of the house because he'll have to go deal with the shit in Brazil.
That's our only shot
But
until
that's really
his
the only shot, and that's just this. I'm still like trying to look, but
and
yeah.
Congress doesn't have time limits, do they? Or do they? I don't think there's congressional time limits, are there? I
I
think.
don't
Oh
think,
yeah, no, no,
yeah.
no. It's every 2 years.
Or yep, or lawsuit for the stealing of the GoFundMe money. So
That's another good.
so
We
both
need
things involving money. Either they need to come after him for the three grand that he stole from the veteran in the GoFundMe thing, or the Brazilians need to really dig in and do some research and figure this out. But like I guess, he's in and we can't fucking just vote him out because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, there's no law against being a piece of shit unless you stole money.
Fund the lawsuit on GoFundMe. Ironic.
I hope
Holy shit,
there's
dude.
someone taking up that case and I hope that veteran has receipts. I'm pretty sure I know that veteran has been interviewed. Because Kate from Barstool, part of the Zero Blog 30 crew, which is a podcast kind of for veterans. It's not specifically for veterans, but they're all veterans on
Mm-hmm.
that. All the hosts are. They've talked about this a lot and how big of a scumbag he is. I know that there's a lot of people out there that are on this guy's on their radar, and I'm sure there's people already working to
There has to
try
be.
to get
This
this guy
dude
out of office.
cannot be allowed to stay.
I didn't see the clip, but apparently at the last congressional hearing, he was like trying to talk to a couple Republican members, and they were like, "Get the fuck away from me. Like,
He's a
I don't even want to be seen in the same snippet. Like, I don't want anybody to be able to take a clip of me and you standing in the same general vicinity and be able to say that I'm a supporter of yours. Like, get the fuck away from me. Don't talk to me. Don't come near me.
he's a
Get the fuck
pariah.
out of here, you fucking scumbag lying piece of shit.
He's a
Get out of
pariah.
here."
I can't wait, dude. God, if there was enough space in the freaking house where everyone is just sitting down and his ass is up at the corner by himself, just like
And probably the most fair thing I could say about this Santos guy is the only thing that separates him from like people like Nancy Pelosi is the fact that they can pin all this shit on this guy.
yeah.
Because if you think he's the only scumbag who's done shit under the table or,
No, so
you know,
he's the only scumbag that has been openly caught in all of his lies.
yeah,
Everyone else was smart enough, I begrudgingly say this, smart enough to do it out of the public eye and not craft elaborate lies about it to where people would be like, I'm going to research that because it sounds crazy.
yeah,
He's
like
the only
Kristen
one
said,
that's
he's
bad
the
at
only
it.
one that's bad at it.
Yeah.
He's the only one to lie about shit like being on a fucking volleyball team at a college that he never went to.
And not just being on it, dude, the
The
superstar.
star of the fucking team
The star
that
of the
a school he never went to.
men's volleyball team at a college I've never heard of.
Again, if you think people like Dan Crenshaw and Nancy Pelosi's husband are smart enough to beat the stock market on their own, you're fucking crazy.
Mm-mm.
This guy is just the only one that they can really get down to the bottom of and like pin all this shit on.
Yeah.
These are the people that are leading our fucking country. And you wonder why the amount of fucking alien sightings were up so high in 2022? They're looking down at the chimps saying, listen, y'all, they're getting a little unruly
Yo,
down
these
there.
monkeys are going crazy.
they got some big old warheads, and they won't stop fucking killing each other. And we might want to keep an eye on the zoo down there because they're
They
starting to
are
get a
starting to
little off
break
the
out of
rails.
their enclosures, and it is not okay. It is not safe for our alien people to come to the zoo anymore.
The zookeepers are locked in the janitor closet, and the fucking chimps are running the show. So we need to get involved.
Absolutely bananas.
Yeah, that's about all I have to say about him. I mean, not that I did just ramble for probably I don't know how many minutes.
Who cares? Like, what the fuck, dude? I'm just waiting for the Brazilians to just fucking.
Gotcha, bitch.
And it makes it worse that he's a Republican. I mean, I guess it doesn't make it worse, but like, I don't even know what to say anymore about it. It would be really cool if there was a gay Republican member of Congress that was like a really good, honest person, because it would be cool to be like, hey, that's pretty neat. Like, you don't see that every day. A gay Republican member of Congress. Like, hey, maybe we are getting some, normal people into Congress. And then this is what we're working with.
This is all I have. All I have for that entire snippet about George Santos, dude. What, dude? What the fuck is going on?
Yes.
What is going on? Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. I don't know if there's anything else.
Slump. Slump and I have been playing games together, so while we're playing, I use the soundboard every now and then.
Oh, dude, the soundboard when we're gaming together is fantastic.
It's the best. And all we can say is, what in the world? Exactly.
Do a little trolling. Do a little trolling.
We do a little trolling. It's called we do a little trolling.
When Santos takes it too far. Maybe one day we'll just get to look at him and...
Don't be rude.
Not that one.
And we say bye-bye.
Maybe, dude. Maybe one day.
Oh, Christ.
Jesus, Lord.
Well, we've been going on for about an hour. That's about all I have.
That's everything I've got. I'm tapped out, dude. But yeah. Chad. So anyway, we're gonna keep on keeping on with the podcast. I think I think we'll just start slowly just introducing wilder and crazier things and really get after it. I will be taking you guys on this journey with me through Norse paganism just to see what's going on, what that's all about.
When I go down a conspiracy rabbit hole about every week, I find one that really intrigues me. Well, I shouldn't say that. I find something interesting. This week has been a lot of murder mystery. But again, if you want me, if the people want me to really dive into some of these crazy things, we can do it. I just don't know if people enjoy it that much.
I think they will. I think people will like. People got an itch for that stuff. So I think what we can do is we can take the first little snippet of our podcast, cover some quick big hitter topics in the news, and just kind of be like, what the fuck is going on? And then we can get into some of the crazier stuff. So I think we'll just start. Maybe we just start just having our episodes like focus like on one crazy topic a week, cover a little bit of the news shit at the beginning, and then just really get into some bananas stuff.
That'd be fine by me.
I think we do it. We keep the little bit at the beginning to kind of stay, keep that little bit of like the roots of how we started, and then really lean into like the what in the world, dude. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, and every episode is on Apple Podcasts. So I haven't figured out how to get on Spotify yet. I don't know if it's that difficult.
It shouldn't be. I mean, I think, well, We, our old episodes, some of them are on Spotify because I was using that website Anchor to
Yeah.
upload, and that went to Spotify. But there's a different way to do it, because I think the channel should still be on there, dude. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look.
Probably. Like I said, we're for sure on Apple Podcasts.
Can we get on
I
Google
have every-
Podcasts too?
I didn't even know Google had a podcast.
Yeah, Google's got a podcast
platform.
service as well.
Okay. Well, I'll
Just to
figure
cover
out
all the
rest of
bases,
that
you know?
out. Yeah. And obviously on YouTube. The only thing that is not super user friendly about YouTube is if you're a typical podcast consumer like I am, I don't watch the video. I just listen to the audio.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, so like it's not great if you have it on like just on your phone, and then
Yeah.
if you exit YouTube to do something else,
Exactly.
it
And please send us feedback, send us topics, send us any and all recommendations you have about the podcast, for the podcast, things to talk about on the
Oh,
podcast.
dude. There's a whole nother podcast on Spotify called What in the World. I mean, ours has podcast at the end of it, but damn.
Fucking hosers.
I'm trying to scroll through Spotify right now to see if we pop up, and I ain't seeing shit.
I know
Yeah.
that it's still on there because if I had that link on our link tree.
Yeah, I'd
And-
have to like find the link. I don't even.
When I was cleaning up
on
and
here.
giving our link tree a facelift, I checked and it was still live. I know it's still on there because
Yeah,
I'm
it's just
subscribed on Spotify.
Very. I wonder. I don't even know if I was ever. I have a bad podcast host. I'm gonna subscribe to my own podcast on fucking Spotify.
Well, and we can figure that shit out off air too.
Yeah,
But
I'm just curious. Oh God, yeah, doesn't look like. Yeah, it's a fat yikes. All right, well, we'll figure it out.
or if you want to be our producer, you could do that too.
Yeah, if somebody wants to be our unpaid intern that produces this shit, that'd be tight. Anyways,
Unpaid until we get sponsored.
yeah, and
As
then
soon as we
can go
start
from there.
making money,
The side hustle is gonna be real, baby. We'll invest into this bitch. I'll get some good equipment.
oh,
I pushed the wrong button. Fucking hell. Been down that road.
yeah.
This time, if you are
anyways.
going to come into that, you will not be on the podcast.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah, that did make it better that like that happened and I accidentally flipped it to the end screen. Anyway, yeah, so if there are some random sponsors out there, if we do it, do we get to date Ben? Whoa. Yes. All of a sudden, my options have fucking just open wide up.
Christ.
Jesus Lord. I'm
You could be
kidding.
like that police officer that was in an open relationship.
It's
that
did
her
you
partner
see
didn't know
that
was in an
they
open relationship?
Did you see that somebody on Google renamed the police station? It was like Laverne Police Department, and they put it as a train station.
Yes, dude. That and the
It's-
video of her riding the mechanical bull. Have you seen that?
I didn't see that one.
Oh Christ, Ben! Our algorithms are not lined up right now.
No,
There's
I
a-
mean, so
there's a
it-
Snapchat of her. I'm pretty sure it was on Snapchat of her riding a bull, and the Snapchat caption is like, "She really knows how to ride." LOL. And all the captions are like the memes just write themselves sometimes.
What's crazy is we did that podcast last week, and literally the next day while I was scrolling through TikTok, those memes came up on my TikTok For You page. There's a There's a couple people I follow that are very funny. One of them, she does. I'm actually friends with her on TikTok. She's crazy. Because she's an all right name out there. She does a lot of military memes, and so she'll, all of her TikToks are just, military memes, and her just reading them and laughing about them, which they're all gold. They're hilarious. But we did that podcast last week, and then literally the next day, she came across my For You page with a shitload of memes about about that situation, and I was fucking dying, dude. It was good times.
Kristen saw her face for the first time
Oh.
today, and literally, like, we're sitting on the couch, and Kristen just turns her phone around and goes, "This is the girl? This is the police officer?" I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Men are fucking stupid." I'm like, well, yes, and also, like, she, again, good for her if you really are in an open relationship. Fuck whoever you want to fuck. Who cares?
Her husband
maybe don't
was
do it.
not informed of that portion of their relationship.
He was not aware
he
that
was just
his marriage was in an open marriage, and she was sucking dudes off in the police station gym.
Yo, Laverne.
Dude. Yeah, like
Oh my god.
Sometimes the memes write themselves.
Tennessee out here wilding.
You could go on for quite a while about 100%. That lady as well.
100%. Boy. Okay. Make it make sense. Facts. All right, chat. So, I think next week we might tiptoe our way into this new format, and you got something bananas you want us to take a stab at? No pun intended. Next week on the show, let us know, and we'll fucking run it, man, and see what's going on. But that's gonna be it for this week. I hope you guys had fun, enjoyed the podcast, and we will see you next week. And as always,
make sure you tell somebody you love them and give them a big old fat hug, all right?
All right, party people, we will be seeing ya. Adios.
Bye. Love you guys.